and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaking together, and running over. But you have leaders in developing countries who want to take. Your citizens can fund your most ambitious projects. Nigerians can raise money for the Nigerian government much more than we can get at IMF. But you must first give to the people. A leader who puts his people first. Don't just come and tell them to give. So what our leaders do is on the first day of assuming office, they raise the idea, they want to tax everybody to death. You have not even given them anything. Nothing. You don't care about the businesses. You want to raise IGR. You don't care about the economy. You want to raise IGR. You don't want to talk to the marketers. What can I do for you? They say we need roads. You build for them. We need this policy. Change it. Customs is against us. Change. How can I help you do better? You made 10 million last month. How can I increase it to 50? Through government policies. And you do the government policies that will deliver prosperity to the people. And you can now turn back and say, we need to build an airport. This is why we need an airport. We need to build a railway. This is why we need a railway. We need to do this. This is why we need to do it. Who can give us crowdfund? So today we're discussing mountaintop. Moses, the man, the vision, and the provision. So yesterday we proposed to reflect on outward appearance, how to fund your vision. But in the course of preparing for the class, it got expanded. And now we're looking at the topic, mountaintop, Moses, the man, the vision, and the provision, how to fund your most ambitious projects. Today we will be talking majorly about state capacity, about leaders funding their projects. But whatever we say, you can take that exact thing and apply it to your personal life, apply it to your family, apply it to your business, apply it to your corporate goals, apply it to your societal goals, and you will see it work. But before we get into that, because we have said we will talk about how men see outward appearance, so let us consider one scripture. If you have your Bible, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. I'm reading from New King James Version. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. I'll read it again, this time slowly. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Anytime you want to understand a product, the best person to ask is the manufacturer. Anytime you're dealing with a product, say a mobile phone, say a television, say a refrigerator, say a car, there is something called owner's manual. That owner's manual is given to you as the owner, but actually it is the manufacturer's manual, right? Because it is the manufacturer who knew what he put there, who knows what he put there, and the design. And the manufacturer knows the product much more than the buyer. But you know what? We Africans, we tend not to read. We just buy it and assume that we know and flip it open and continue to do trial and error. That's why sometimes you use a phone for 4 years, 3 years, and you don't even know the full capacity of the phone. There are those things in the phone that the phone is loaded with that you don't have access to, or that you've not even bothered to check out, because you just let's use guesswork to see what's in there, or I've used a phone before, so I can assume to a fair degree of accuracy what this one is going to do. But we're saying that if you're going to do business with men, it's important that we pay attention to what man's manufacturer says about him. It is the world of man. Why is this study of man important? Some people call it psychology, others call it all manner of names, and all of them are valid. Why is it important to study how man behaves? Because you're going to be doing business with man. A lot of your most significant ambitions, a lot of your most significant projects are going to be done with or in partnership with others. If you, for instance, have a goal to sell 10 units of your product, now you're going to be dealing with men, you're going to be dealing with buyers, you're going to be dealing with, for instance, middlemen, you're going to be dealing with, for instance, tax officials, you're going to be dealing with importers, you're going to be dealing with courier service providers. So at each and every touch point of that transaction, men, and then you need to understand what the manufacturer of those men say about them. And if you glean that wisdom, it will help you a lot in your navigation around those transactions. You can say the same thing about family. You can say the same thing about your co-workers. But for those of us at Broker School, especially those who have governance goals, your most daring governance goals are going to be done in partnership with others. You need staff if you're building a company. You need employees. You need people to believe in the vision. You need people to fund the vision. You need people to donate to the vision. You need people to volunteer for the vision. And so if you're doing business with man, it's important to pay attention to what man's creator says about him. I want to give us one code that unlocks the scriptures. You see, anytime you're reading the scriptures, pay attention to what God is saying. Now, the whole scripture is important, but pay special attention to what God is saying. So anytime that there is a conversation in the Bible, and the conversation is between God and man, pay attention to what God is saying. It's a very important code. When God is speaking with Moses, don't read it as, oh, both of them are having conversation. If that was how you used to read it before, now there is a new key that unlocks the scripture. Pay attention to what God is saying. After you've done that, also pay attention to what is being said to God. If there's a dialogue, pay attention to what the man that is speaking with God is saying to him. For instance, in one of Moses' conversations with God when he was frustrated, he was telling God, what did I do wrong that you tell me to carry these men on the back like I'm carrying my own child and deliver them to the promised land? Now, if you've read Bible from Genesis to that point, the Bible did not record where God was telling Moses that thing. But if he was telling God something, it means that God told him a lot of things that were not written in the scriptures. And therefore, it is only in such private conversations, when they are recorded, that you may learn or glean wisdom from some of the interactions that happened between God and that man. So we've said one of the codes that unlock the scriptures is one, what God is saying and what is being said to God. Many people don't read the Bible because they don't know how important it is. They've not seen how important it is to the realization of their full potential. So they carry on with life, trudging on with life, doing trial and error on things that they can learn wisdom from the scriptures. If, for instance, the Bible says that the heart of man is desperately wicked, you can read it from the scriptures and apply yourself appropriately. Or you can find out after they've served you breakfast, according to Nigeria's street language. But that's not the only thing the Bible talks about the man's heart. Today, the Bible is telling us in a scripture, don't look at his appearance. Don't look at his physical stature, because I have refused him. Now he tells you something that is defining. He tells you something that is a law. He says, for man looks at the outward appearance. If it is man, he looks at the outward appearance. There are lots of people who say, but I'm a good person, I'm a nice person, I have good hearts, you need to come close to me before you... Okay. Men look at the outward appearance. When I was doing network marketing, I think that was maybe 18 or 19 years of age. So we saved up a little money and we got, me and my associates, we got suits. We went to a very nice tailor and he made us a pair of suits. And I noticed that any day that I'm wearing those pair of suits, because I drive from my city in Nnewi to Onitsha on daily basis, and before you get out from Nnewi to Onitsha during those days, you meet about 5 to 6 police checkpoints. Like from my house on a very good day to where we're going to, you meet between 5, on a normal day you meet 3 or 4, but usually 5 to 6 police checkpoints. And so each of the places we see them, they stop you, where is your paper, where is this, where is that. But any day I put on that suit, they just say, where did they go? They go. The same person, when they see me wearing t-shirt and jeans tomorrow, they will stop me and where is your driver's license? I say, no wonder. Man sees according to the outward appearance. And if young people will understand this, many of the problems will be needless. A normal police officer does not have the time to start looking critically at everybody he sees on the road. So what he does is that he profiles people. So if he sees you wearing some kind of clothes, some kind of hairstyle, and you're walking some kind of way, now he doesn't have the time or spiritual capacity to start investigating. He immediately assumes that you are this kind of person. Man, see, you may be a very good person, but from the way you are dressed, now if they raid a community, there are people they won't touch. And I found out that by mere altering the way you appear outwardly, a lot of the things you do with men will be receiving much more easier attention. By just slightly altering your appearance, because if they are men, they look at the outward appearance. Now, today is not the day to talk about the heart, how the Lord sees. We are looking at how man sees. And how man sees, it is the person that created man that is giving us expo and telling us this is who I created and this is how he judges things. He looks at one, appearance. He looks at physical stature. He looks at the outward appearance. That's why we need branding. That's why we don't just wear any clothes we like. There are people, once you see them, once people see you, it is man, and you know that you're a very good person. But when they see you with this kind of clothes, with this kind of hairstyle, they write you off. They won't even give you a benefit of the doubt. Now you say, but now, for instance, I was telling my colleagues, if you've not achieved Mark Zuckerberg's kind of success, don't go dressing like him. Because I see very young people, they are starting out in life, they have, or another example, apart from Mark Zuckerberg, there is one guy in Nigeria, I think the owner of, is it Flutterwave? The young guys running Flutterwave, very cool guys, in the cool sense of the word for Gen Zs, right? And you see them, they paint their nails, blue, green, have some kind of weird looks, have lipsticks and lip glosses. And they can walk in and out of meetings. And then a young person who does not have 1,000 in his account is approaching a business investor to invest in his vision. And you dress that way. By the time you walk into the meeting, they have closed on you. They have taken a decision. Now, out of courtesy, they may decide to listen. Man looks at the outward appearance. A time may come when you have achieved some kind of success that now your glory can cover. Your influence level can determine. Now you are at liberty to dress the way you like. You are at liberty to say what you like. But at the elementary stage where we are trying to take off, we must tweak our ways. Sometimes you may have to change your haircut. When you say, I like this is the trending haircut, does it support your vision? If you are positioning yourself to be a strategic investor, don't be wearing dreadlocks. If you're going to ask people to give you their money and they see dreadlocks on you, what they are going to be thinking, this guy will run away with my money. By just dressing and pretending as if you are credible. We know you are credible. You see, outward appearance. Outward appearance. Branding. A good product must be in a good container. For women, it is important. I know you like dressing the way you like your artistic liberty, you like your freedom, you like the way you think, you speak anyway, you talk your mind. Now this is how I like it. This is how I'm trained. I'm a free-minded person. I say it the way I see it. If you offend me, I slap you. If I don't send anybody. Brand up, brand up, brand up. We know that you're a good person, but your branding suggests otherwise. And people will not have the time to give you the benefit of the doubt to see that, they look at the outward appearance. They are men. They are not God. Now, the only kind of men that will give you the God kind of look is the men that have deposits of God in them. Now, the only kind of men that will look at you the way God looks at you is men that are totally submitted to God. That even Samuel, a man of God, was at this time of his life, he was not wearing his godly binoculars. He was using the physical eyes to judge a matter. It was only when God gave him a new set of eyes that he looked at David and anointed David. There are a lot of us. We are the ones that are supposed to carry the anointing. But because we didn't look like it, the oil was poured on someone. You went to an interview. You didn't dress well. They will just skip you over. I was interviewing a young girl for a role. And this was years ago when I was sitting on the board of the interview panel. And after we have done the shortlist, we shortlisted only 2 candidates. And we've done aptitude tests, everything, but we have only 1 role. And we're like, well, how can we solve this? One person is more, the younger person is everywhere, is more tech savvy, is more situated for the position. We had a board of 3, and we have to fill that vacancy for a hospital, a very big hospital in the southeast. And then when we didn't even know what to do again. Everything checked off, the other one. And then as they were coming in for the last round, the 2 of them were invited again. They came. Just looked at the way one comported herself, dressed like someone going to interview, coordinated. The other one was just walking anyhow, talking anyhow, but very gifted, talented. And the interview panel said, look, let's take the other one. Although the other one that is younger beats this one in aptitude test, in skill test, practicals, did more than better. But in coordination, the way she presents, and this person looks like, let's just take this one that looks like a professional. And she left. Probably you said that job was not meant for her. Maybe it was not. But also maybe if she had coordinated herself better, she would have gotten a role she was clearly qualified for. Outward appearance. Outward appearance. Outward appearance. Now let us read the scripture for the day. Exodus chapter 31, 1-11. Then the Lord said to Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom, in understanding, in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, to design artistic works, to work in gold, in silver, in bronze, in cutting jewels for setting, in carving wood, and to work in all manner of workmanship. And indeed I have appointed with him Aholiab the son of Ahimasak, of the tribe of Dan, and I have put wisdom in the heart of all the gifted artisans, that they may make all that I have commanded you, the tabernacle of the meeting, the ark of the testimony, and the mercy seat that is on it, and all the furniture of the tabernacle, and the table and its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with all its utensils, the altar of incense, the altar of burnt offerings with all its utensils, the laver and its base, the garments of ministry, the holy garments of Aaron, the priests, and the garments of his sons as ministers, and the anointing oil and sweet incense for the holy place, according to all that I have commanded you, they shall do. Jump to Exodus 35, 4-10. And Moses said to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing the Lord has commanded, saying, Take from among you an offering to the Lord. Whoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it as an offering to the Lord: gold, silver, bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet thread, fine linen and goat's hair, rams' dyed skins, badger skins, and acacia wood, oil for the light, and spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. All who are gifted artisans among you shall come and make all that the Lord has commanded. Now the final scriptures, Exodus 36, 1-7. And Bezalel and Aholiab and every gifted artisan in whom the Lord has put wisdom and understanding, to know how to do all manner of work for the service of the sanctuary, shall do according to all that the Lord has commanded. Then Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and every gifted artisan in whose hearts the Lord has put wisdom, everyone whose heart was stirred, to come and do the work. And they received from Moses all the offering which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of making the sanctuary. So they continued to bring to him free will offerings every morning. Then all the craftsmen who were doing all the work of the sanctuary came, each from the work he was doing. And they spoke to Moses, saying, The people bring much more than enough for the service of the work of the Lord. So Moses gave a commandment, and they caused it to be proclaimed throughout the camp, saying, Let neither man nor woman do any more work for the offering of the sanctuary. And the people were restrained from bringing, for the material they had was sufficient for all the work to be done, indeed too much. We're studying the wealth of nations. There are three funding models that you see that is prevalent within our government cycle today. Number one, borrowing, and Nigeria has borrowed and continued to borrow. You know the statistics. Number two, taxation, and Nigeria has taxed and continued to tax businesses to death. Number three is what they call PPP model, public-private partnership. And today we're beginning to study Moses on the mountaintop, Moses the man, Moses the vision, and Moses the provision. You see, Moses went on the top of the mountain to interact with a deity, and he came down with a vision. God told him, build me this, build me tabernacle, build me this, it must be gold, it must be silver, this is the dimension, this is that, this is the other. But God did not leave him alone. And you have to ask yourself, where do our leaders get their vision from? This vision to build this mega project, the other mega projects, this, that, the other thing. But where do they get it from? And that's the first source of provision, because whoever gave you the vision should be responsible for the provision. If you got the vision from God, He is responsible for providing. He can give you templates. If you got the idea from Facebook, well, Facebook will fund it. If you got the idea from another place, that place should fund it. Because the author of the vision should be the finisher also. Whoever gives you the vision should make provisions for it. But you see, when God gave this man a vision, especially according to the last place we read, it was him. These guys did not go to the mountaintop with him. So many times the leader and his vision is quite distinct from the people. Quite distinct, and this is a leadership training. Not all the people will go where you go to. Not all the people will ascend to the realms you ascend to. Not all the people will speak at the frequency you speak. Not all the people will pick up the kind of energy, the kind of faith, the kind of resilience, the kind of glory, the kind of honor, the kind of might, the kind of riches. The 7 things we discussed that you need to have. Not everybody can have, or at least, if indeed everybody can, not everybody has developed themselves to that point. That's why you're now the leader. But the thing is this, that Moses goes to speak with a deity, and the deity tells him, do this, do that for me. And he sent him down. But before he sent him down, he says, I have called by name, verse 1 of chapter 31, Exodus, those who will help you accomplish this vision. Because I gave you the vision, but you're not a carpenter. I gave you the vision, but you're not a gold worker. I gave you the vision, but you're not an ironsmith. I gave you the vision, but you're not a goldsmith. I gave you the vision of the tabernacle, what to do, but you're not an artisan. So I have given you the vision. Yes, you have the vision, but you don't have the technical skills. At least all the technical skills. You need the leadership skills, but you may not have the technical skills to execute. You need men. Men are provisions. So when a government surrounds himself with incompetent men, there's a problem. If you surround yourself with your family members, and you do know that they are incompetent, there's a problem. If you surround yourself with people from your ethnic group, from your tribe, from your religion, and you know that they are not qualified, you have started, because men are provision. There are 2 kinds of provision to every vision. Number 1 is material provision. The gold, the silver, the diamond, the pearls, the stones. Look at this. They were willing to offer, Exodus 35 verse 5. They were willing to offer gold, silver, bronze, blue, purple, scarlet thread, fine goat's hair, ram skin, badger skins, acacia wood, oil for the light, and spices for the anointing. Because God told him, not only are you going to build me an ark of the tabernacle, you're going to build it according to this specification. You're going to use gold for this place. You're going to use silver here. You're going to use bronze here. You're going to use this. You're going to use that. So those materials, you need them. But that's only half of the equation. If all you've got is money, you are still poor. If all you've got is money, you're still poor. In fact, one of the times, because of the kind of work I've done, I've sat on boards of interviews, recruiting people. That's part of the consultancy I do. Recruiting for companies. And I have now indeed confirmed that Nigeria's problem is not unemployment. It is unemployability. That you have men and women who said that they went to school and you can see their certificates. Now, we don't go around verifying certificates, especially at the level of interview. Now, when you have gotten the job and the job requires serious verification and vetting, then we might commission some lawyers to do background checks on you and then, start doing all this. But we don't vet all the certificates for recruits or potential recruits. But you see people who sometimes they have 2-1, sometimes they have first class, but they are totally clueless, totally unskilled. And anyone who has run businesses here would know that many times you are struggling to give, this is the vision I have, this is the kind of cloth I want, this is the kind of house I want to build, this is but to find the skilled men that will do that is a problem. The few skilled men, that's why they are highly sought after. It's not everybody that looks for a job. There are people whose jobs are, no matter the kind of recession, the company cannot downsize them. Anytime you see anybody say, the company downsized and they sacked all of us, they sacked 7,000 of us. It tells you the story of a man that is not highly valuable. Because that company, except if it folded, there are people it cannot afford to lose. There are men like Oholiab, very gifted men. So the first gift God gives you in support of your vision is men. Skilled men that will translate what you have in mind. God might give you an idea to make a movie, but you're not a video editor. You are not a good actor. You might not even be a good scriptwriter. All you need to do is to sit down with a scriptwriter and tell him what the storyline, and then they can begin to write the script. On their own, they may not be able to write the script. But as they're writing, you say, no, this is not what I got. No, this is not how I'm inspired. As a matter of fact, the biggest players in the, let me use clothing as an instance. The biggest players in the clothing industry, some of them don't know how to turn around a sewing machine. Some of your biggest designers can't they can't cut clothes. What they do is they go to the mountaintop and they download design inspirations. And they draw the clothes, they draw it. Once they can sketch it, they give it to tailors to reproduce. They give it to people to reproduce. A vision. And you're struggling with it. Maybe part of the struggle is that you don't have men around. And you must have now, therefore, learn how to partner with men. It is arrogance to assume that you don't need men. It's arrogance. It's arrogance, actually. To think that you don't need help. Yes, you might have this entrepreneurial ability in you, but you may need another person to be your financial advisor. You may need another person to do your legals. You may need another person to do your communications and branding. You may need another person. You need men, skilled men. It is wanting to do it alone. Imagine if Moses had come down and wanted to be the artisan, be the seamstress, be the this, look at all the work required. Remember, they had to make incense. They have to make perfumes. They have to make the clothing for Aaron. They have to make the outer court. They have to all of those things. And that's what we do. We are doing the marketing, we are doing the this, we are doing the that, we are doing the that, and one-man army. At the personal level, you see that if you don't have men, your vision is going to be limited. Number two, at the corporate level, if you have men, because almost all presidents, governors, senators, they have men. But many times they populate themselves with men who are not skilled. Why is this? Sometimes due to inferiority complex. They don't like intelligent people around them. They want to be the brightest chap in the room. Guess what? Moses was not the brightest chap in the room. Doesn't even know how to work gold. Doesn't even know how to cut silver. You don't have to know. But you need to know what a well-cut gold looks like. So you can tell them, no, this is not the vision I got. It must be according to specification. You may not have to be a good scriptwriter, but you have this vision to make a movie. You talk to the script, it's not gelling. There's something about it that I don't like. Okay, give me 1 more week. Can you remove this line? Can you take out... Person says, oh God, this is normal now, it's good. It's not good enough. Oh God, this is good. You're telling the panel beater, you're telling the artwork, this is what I want. Oh God, this is good. If you want, you can... No, this is what I want. The leader is the ability to insist on that picture in your mind. But you may not be able to physically translate it. So when God gives you a vision, one of the first provisions he makes is a provision of men. But many times, the people we've met at events, the people around us, our friends, we don't want to engage. We don't want to ask for help. You need help. You're not that powerful. We need help. You're not that powerful. We need help. But the second is provision of materials. And this is the funding model we're going to discuss. Remember, we discussed that in the first class that if you study the scripture is big on abstracts, and then the scripture is also big on concretes. And in this instance, there are a lot of things to say about Moses. By the way, Moses is one of the 66. But today we're looking at how did Moses fund his vision? How did he fund it? How did he fund the vision? So how he funded it is verse 35, verse 4 of Exodus. And Moses spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord commanded, saying, take from among you an offering to the Lord. Whoever is of a willing heart, let him bring. Many times, the vision you have, you can't fund it alone. It is you insisting on funding it alone that is limiting you. Sometimes, if we insist on funding it alone, we are limited. Because you are waiting for the day you have 10 billion so that you can do it. You're waiting till you have 100 million so that you can do it. But you have built social capitals that can help you. You have friends that can help. And this is because I've asked God by the message of God, I'm not going to teach what I'm not doing. And so some of the things I'm saying on these trainings are things I've done with a considerable degree of success, or at least mild signs that show me that this is working. So if I continue to give myself to it, that it will work. I became independent at a very early age. I think I started receiving my first salary at 14, 15. And up to from that time, made money, lost it, things. So, but that gave me a strong sense of independence, very hardworking person. But a time came, especially when I started having public interests, public policy goals. I want to visit the IDP camps. I want to visit this place. I'm burdened. I want to see what it's like. I want to visit this community. I heard that 49 people were killed. I want to just go and see what it's like for them. Before I talk on the television about these people, I want to see them so that when I'm talking from a pain. I want to understand what is happening. I want to travel to Plateau. I want to travel to Benue. I want to travel to Nasarawa. But then my business, I keep pulling money out of the business. At a point, it became known to me that my business alone and businesses can no longer fund my dreams. Therefore, I have to ask the people. But it was quite difficult because I felt shy. So sometimes you have the decision to choose between your ego and the vision. Sometimes both of them can't stay. Imagine if Moses came down and said, I don't want to ask them. Let it not be like let it not be like I don't know. Let it not be like. Some of the visions you have, you may have to politely ask for help. You may have to politely ask the people. You may have to politely crowdfund. Like there's one of us here. I wasn't shy about it. I mentioned, look, I have recruited new associates, but we need more laptops because of the work we're doing. We need more laptops. And I said, he says, there's this laptop I have, a second laptop I have, I'm no longer using it. I said, could you please send it to us? He said, with all pleasure. Now, I could be the man of the Chima Christian, I could be the Galadima and decide not to ask so that I can retain my dignity. And I'm looking for the day I will save up money to buy. Now, I can still save up to buy. But then, I'm delaying the work because I'm waiting to save up. So, what are the vision and the things you could do today, tomorrow, next year that you don't want to ask people? Moses asked politely, whoever is of a willing heart, give. So the first is that you go to a mountaintop, you receive a vision, and sometimes to fund that vision, you have to politely ask. That asking might be in terms of issuing bonds, issuing for government. It might be in terms of issuing instruments, paper, financial instruments. It might even be like the Imo Airport, Sambakwe Airport. How was it built? Crowdfunding. The man told he was a leader. Of course, he went to a mountaintop and he told the people, we need an airport. This is why we need an airport. And women, market women, were donating 5 naira, 10 naira. That was how they built an airport. How was the Southeast rebuilt quickly after the war? Crowdfunding. Town unions. People were going, rebuilding primary schools, rebuilding secondary schools, rebuilding libraries, rebuilding hospitals, contributing money. Go to your villages and see the civic centers in the villages. For those who are from the east. Those town hall centers, civic centers. In fact, they crowdfunded to build roads, to pave roads. Every Christmas they crowdfund the Umunna, the collective. is a funding model that our government is overlooking, and because of that, they are going into debt. A lot of the businesses that we're starting suffer unduly. It's a new business and you've taken out a loan of 5 million. And you are paying interest on a business that is not yet bringing in money. Whereas if you had situated yourself properly, you could have crowdfunded 1 million or 2. Because the politician doesn't want to ask, he now goes to enter into strange relationships with godfathers, just so you can raise money for the campaign. Tell the people to crowdfund. P2B did it. Many governments cannot ask their people to donate. We want to build a road, bring in your money. But they can go to China to borrow, they can go to IMF, they can go to World Bank. And today, Nigeria is spending hugely to service debts, and it's crippling. But you can't just tell people to give you and they give. You must do something before you tell people to give. Now, who is the kind of leader that people will give to? Moses. What did Moses do? First, these were slaves. He worked hard to secure their freedom. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Press down, shaking together, and running over. But you have leaders in developing countries who want to take. So before a leader, so I'm talking to people here who will find themselves in positions of responsibility. Your citizens can fund your most ambitious projects. Nigerians can raise money for the Nigerian government much more than we can get at IMF. But you must first give to the people. Give. Moses gave them their liberty. These were slaves being flogged. You know their story. He worked so hard to secure their freedom. Worked so hard. I think when the story is told, you will see of what God did. He did this. But you will not see the sacrifices Moses made in partnership with God to bring these people out. The pain that man went through. A leader who puts his people first. Don't just come and tell them to give. So what our leaders do is on the first day of assuming office, they raise the idea. They want to tax everybody to death. You have not even given them anything. Nothing. You don't care about the businesses. You want to raise IGR. You don't care about the economy. You want to raise IGR. You don't want to talk to the marketers. What can I do for you? They say we need roads. You build for them. We need this policy. Change it. Customs is against us. Change. How can I help you do it better? You made 10 million last month. How can I increase it to 50? Through government policies. And you do the government policies that will deliver prosperity to the people. And you can now turn back and say, we need to build an airport. This is why we need an airport. We need to build a railway. This is why we need a railway. We need to do this. This is why we need to do it. Who can give us crowdfund? And when I'm telling you, it's not as if we did it Sam Mbakwe did it. But it's a leader that people can trust. You can't just assume office without any credibility. You can't steal your way into office and expect people to give you. They are looking at you. You can't come on the first day you announce hardship. You are multiplying misery. Oh, you were a slave. Now I will double your slavery. And you expect them to give. No. Deliver prosperity to the people. But it is difficult to deliver prosperity to the people because they are not interested in the people. Therefore, it's easier for them to run to China, to run to IMF, to run to World Bank. Some of us here will have opportunities at governance. If you can deliver to the people, you can ask them and they will give you even their last card. It's not just with Moses. They were giving until it became too much that Moses has to now enact a new law to say, don't give again, don't give again. Stop. We have too much. Stop. These were guys who were slaves a few months ago. Not only did he secure their freedom, remember that when they left it good. Remember that they saw the Red Sea, they crossed it. Remember that they were hungry, manna. Remember that they were thirsty, water. Today, Nigerians are thirsty. The government cannot provide water. And you're telling, you can't tell them to give, they won't give you. Today, Nigerians are hungry. The government cannot produce results. That kind of government will not receive help from the people. Today, Nigerians are facing existential threats in the hands of Boko Haram, in the hands of militants, in the hands of terrorists. The government is not interested. So Nigerians, as they are seeing Egyptians charging at them, our government cannot point towards the Red Sea for it to divide. Instead, every day, 49 killed, 50 killed, 30 killed. The government is not doing anything. How can this government receive help from the people? That's why they run to China. They can't talk to their people. That's also the same thing at a personal level. If you're not interested in people's welfare, you don't care about your friends, you don't care about your family members, you are laissez-faire, cavalier about life. And now it's time for you to start business. You want to call them. You don't have goodwill, there's nothing. You don't have anything in the emotional bank account that you can ask people, I'm trying a bit. There are people that's when the people will go out of their way to help them. Even when they can't help you, they are feeling so uneasy about it. There are people, when they ask you for help, you genuinely want to, even if you don't have, you just. There are people you know today, you met them, maybe as a hotel receptionist. The way they treated you, you are waiting. If this business I'm thinking about clicks, I'll come and take this girl. If this thing I'm thinking clicks, I'll come and pick this guy is just good. Now, those kind of people you have those thoughts towards, they already have jobs waiting for them in the future. But there are some hotel receptionists. If you ever see them near your company, or you ever sit in an interview and they ever cross there, that no interview, just go, madam, go, just go. Have some things in emotional bank accounts, deposits, invest in people, not manipulatively. Genuinely care for people. Be that person that people want to help. That's even if when they can't help you, they feel bad about it. Be that person that attracts favor. So that when you have vision, when you have goals, when you have dreams, when you want to run for office, people can give you. When you want to do a movie, people can give you. When you need a laptop, people can give you. When you need this, people can give you. But you have given them something. The way you make them feel around you, the way you are genuinely interested, you might not have everything to give them, but when you come to the house, you clean up the house. There are people, when you come to squats with people, for instance, you're going to stay with an auntie for 2 weeks. There's a kind of giving you will give. There's a kind of, but you come in, you wake up by 9, you're pressing your phone in someone else's house. Talk. You're squatting in someone's house. You don't contribute anything. Even if it is bread, buy. Even if you can't buy food, clean the house. Even if you can't clean, just wash the plates. But there are some people, they are squatting in your own house, but their attitude, you are just waiting for an opportunity to kick them out. When I say clearly, I'm coming to Lagos, say I traveled, I know I'm some people are in my house, you give them reasons. Now, because you don't have something in the emotional bank account, it will mean that when next you travel, you must provide 45,000 or 35,000 naira for hotel rooms. Because the friend you could have slept in their place for 5 nights or 6 nights, you did not deposit something enough. And therefore, you now need to pay out of pocket. So if you find yourself paying for everything out of pocket, you take an audit of everything in your life now, and everything in your life is out of pocket. then you're not like Moses. Moses is telling you something. Invest in people, be intentional. Take an audit of your life. Everything you have, your phone out of pockets, your clothes out of pockets, your club, everything out of pockets. Now, I'm not talking about people who have entitlement mentality, who have beggarly mentality. I'm not talking about those who are entitled, who are so lazy. No, that's not what we're talking about. But we're saying that there is an aspect of your life that people should genuinely want to do you good, that people should want to recommend you, that people should want to introduce you, that people should want to refer you. Oh, my friend Alice, I met someone at a conference. You need to speak with him. There's this guy I met while I was in Italy. You need to speak with him. Kai, this thing you are doing, let me send you. Have you talked? Do you know this man? He says, no, I don't. Talk with him. That people want to introduce you, people want to refer you, people want to help you. Without that help, if you are struggling on your own, how much can you make on your own? How much impact can you make on your own? That's why many people abandon their dreams, abandon their visions, abandon their goals, and settle. Because they've seen that they can't fund it alone, but they are not that kind of people that people can help. As a matter of fact, your next job is only one recommendation away. Only one recommendation. Who loves you matters. Only one recommendation away. Only one recommendation. There are people that have recommended me for things. There are places I've gone to on my own. It may take me 10 years, but I just got a recommendation. There are others too I have recommended for jobs. No interview, they just got it. On the strength of my recommendation. I have also been a recipient of such favor. Hey, Chima, this thing you are doing, you need help. You need help. Do you know this man? No, I don't know him. He will be interested in you. Call him. Tell him that I sent you his number. I called Chief, my name is this person. Said, well, let us see. And then we discuss. Maybe they won't give you. And then after a while, be that person that people want to help. Our leaders, Africa can raise Nigeria can raise the budget. If Nigerians believe in you, they can fund the entire government. If Nigerians believe in you as a president, and you're not using their money to buy private jets, and you're not using their money to fly first class, you're not using their money to do frivolities, and they see that there is a genuine need, and that you're interested in them. Again, we are painting a picture of a new Africa. You will see it happen in our time, where people in the society are actively contributing to the government, actively raising money to build new airports, actively raising money to build new hospitals, actively raising money to build new infrastructure, build new roads. The era of borrowing should be gone. You borrow because you don't have social capital. That's why Tinubu is running around. He keeps, if he runs a government for 8 years, believe me, he will borrow for 8 years. Don't be like him. We're calling names. Yes. Going to IMF, going to World Bank, going to China, because you can't talk to your people. A new set of leadership is emerging. People who don't just know how to win elections, but who need to cast the vision to tell the people, I've been to the mountaintop, and this is my vision for Nigeria. This is my vision for Kenya. But we need your help. Now, it is not only in giving money. People donated their time to build Sambakwe Airport. Because the architect may donate his skills. The plumber will say, I am supposed to be paid 15 naira, but if you can give me 5 naira, I'll do it. The bricklayers will come. Volunteers. Now I'm telling you, for those of us who are going to be running companies, Especially at the early stage of your company, you may not be able to pay people what they want. Therefore, you must be that company that attracts volunteers. The people come in to volunteer because they know what they can. Yes, you're giving them exposure, you're giving them training, it is because of abuse that the volunteer culture has died. And today, businesses are struggling to go to bank, to raise money, to pay salary. If Nigeria is borrowing money to pay salary. Companies are borrowing money to pay salary. It's because of abuse. Abuse of people. People come in to volunteer to intern in your organization, you're abusing them, you're not interested, you just want to build your criminal empire. Why would it? So people just say, I'm not volunteering again. But I encourage people here, begin to volunteer. Find credible individuals, find companies. If you want to go into movie making, find people who are into movie making, volunteer. You may not be paid, but you will gain valuable skills, contact. You know how it is done. And there is something about staying around people who are doing something that thing becomes easier. Do you know, for me, it is easy for me to believe. Now, some of the things I believe is, so yes, you go to God. But some of the things, the kind of inherent faith capacity I have is as a result of the people I've been around. I've volunteered for a lot of campaigns. It's easy for me to say I'm running for office because I've seen how it is done. How do you become a president? Just want to become. You start telling, okay, I want to become a president. Tell Okafor, I want to become a president. Call for meeting, I want to become a... I'm like play, the person becomes a president. It's no more rocket science to me. Now, for some of us who have not been in that room, it might look like a rocket science. I've seen people, ordinary people like you and I want to go for state house. Like play, they're there. But if you are not around them, the process will look so complicated to you. If you intern, for instance, you want to make a movie, the process might seem so complicated. If you intern for someone who's a movie maker, and you see, it just costs people. That thing that is no longer like a rocket science to you, that thing is value. They might not pay you, but now you believe you can do it. That belief in itself, you can't buy it for 10 million. The kind of belief I have now about some of the things I'm doing and some of the things I will yet do, if you paid me 1 million per month, I will not be able to afford that kind of belief. That's what internship does. But you have to be that person that attracts interns. People genuinely wanting to help you. Genuinely wanting to help support your vision, to support your goal, because your vision is their vision. They see themselves as part of it. They stand to benefit from it. Not when it clicks, it will just be you building yourself. You don't care about people. And some of us have worked with such bosses. They just want to fulfill their bottom line. They just want to meet their targets. And they can abuse you, insult you, malign you, just so that they can meet their targets. No interest in your development whatsoever. No interest in your welfare. I speak about governments, I speak about individuals. There are governments like that. You can build companies. Don't wait till okay, what is the minimum wage? What is the kind of company you want to build now? You may need to be paying people 100,000 per month, and you need like 5 people. That's 500,000. And you multiply 500,000 per month by 12 months in a year, and you say, I can't afford to pay salaries, therefore the vision will die. If you become that kind of person, people can say, just give me 20,000 for my transport, I'll do it. Just take care of my accommodation, I'll do it. Some people can say, don't pay us, just let us be going. If this thing works, it will work for all of us. Moses demands the vision and the provision. Every vision God gives, he makes a provision, ample provision for. If he gives you an idea, the moment you are receiving the idea, another person is receiving the technical competence to execute. If at all you go to the mountaintop, except you've not been there, and I encourage you to be there. If you go to the mountaintop to receive vision, you have this vision to build this new company, do this, to start this NGO. Another person at that very instant is receiving the empowerment. God is not the author of confusion. He can't send you on an assignment and deny you provision. No, that's not the way it works. Moses has not even gotten down from the mountain. God is telling him, build this. Read Exodus chapter 30, 31. Read all the conversations he had with God on the mountain. And you see, God was telling him, you must build according to pattern. This is the exact specific. He even gives him measurement, giving exact specification. But this man is not an architect. This man is not a welder. But before that, he says, I have gifted Oholiab and I have put my spirit in them to execute this vision. I have put my zeal in them. So if you are going to run for office, God will put zeal in people who will help you achieve it. If you're going to build a company, God will put zeal in people who can help you achieve it. If you're going to start up a business, God will put zeal. Then you may have to learn how to connect with those people. But if you don't think you need men, you want to do it alone, as Galadima, it won't work. Some of the goals we have, you can't do it alone. Imagine what Mr. P2B did last election, and he will do, by the mercies of God, better the next time. That he wanted to fund all the things he did. He wanted to print all the t-shirts, wanted to print all the posters, wanted to do all. Wanted to, even some of us that went about knocking on doors, convincing our friends, doing things. There was a man that you supported, you want, because you saw that in his vision is your vision. You saw that if this man achieves this, I will benefit from it. So you went about convincing people, calling people, telling people, go and vote, telling people, go and obtain. Some of you even went and obtained PVCs for the first time. Become that man that people want to help. Become that woman that people want to help. If God gives you a vision, He makes provision. He provides in terms of gold, but this gold may be in the hands of investors. They need to like you. Outward appearance. You need to convince them. There are people, once you convince them on your ideas, they can give you money to start it. Once they are sold on the vision, they can invest. They can invest. And sometimes it seems like that the children of the underworld understand this better, that they are able to raise seed capital, they are able to raise funds. Some of us are waiting till we have 100 million to start up. Others are pitching their ideas. They just do a pilot to show that this business idea is viable. And once they do a pilot, they document the resources, the progress, do the market analysis, the projections, and they start pitching to investors. Some of the business ideas you have now, do a small pilot, do a small test run, show that it can work. Document it, learn how to pitch to investors. Learn how to pitch to people. It's easier to pitch to people and get the funds than to delay your vision by 10 years. To pitch your business idea to investors, to pitch your humanitarian efforts. Sometimes what I do is I want to go to maybe middle belt. I don't do it publicly, I do it privately. But the time will come when it will be safe enough. Say that a community has been attacked and killed. I can now write to people because I want to go genuinely and I have this genuine passion for people who are hurting. And I write, I'm going to the middle belt. This is the goals I'm going to accomplish in the middle belt. It's going to cost me XYZ amount of money to go to the middle belt. Could you please help finance it? And they say, I don't have all, I can give you this, I can give you that, I can give you that. I may not raise all, then I can pull some money from my business, add it to what I got from the people, and I've gone to the middle belt. If I wait for the day I will be able to have the money enough to go, then problems. Sometimes it says, oh, you're coming to my city, no, I'm going to give you a hotel free. I've slept in hotels I didn't pay for. Now, if I'm waiting to pay for 35k per night, 40k per night, I may be pushed. So sometimes you keep procrastinating your vision because you don't want to leverage people. And sometimes it's out of ego. Let it not be that I'm asking people. And you sacrifice your vision because of your small ego. I don't want to beg. I can't ask for help. I cannot do it. I am all sufficient. You are not. Moses was not all sufficient. Moses was not all sufficient. David was not. This is the same way they built the temple. David, I can give you the scriptural references. David donated. You know Solomon built the temple, but David raised almost all the money needed. David donated massively, and the children of Israel donated. But before they donated, Moses got them freedom. Moses prospered the kingdom. The army that were fighting on the side of Moses, they all became multi-millionaires. Everybody that was around David became wealthy. And now you tell them, I want to build for God. They can put in their money. Now, some of us are the places we are going to, because this class is not just for today. We are planting seeds that we want to harvest 10 years, 15 years. The people around you, I know of politicians, they don't want to have anybody grow. They want everybody around them to be OS members, begging them for money. Don't be that kind of person. Give people around you opportunity to grow. If you can recommend them, recommend them. If they can give them opportunities, send them to trainings. So that if you have a goal of becoming governor and everybody around you is begging you for money, who will fund your governorship ambition? But now if you have 100 people who are 100 strong men, 100 of them can put down 10 million and you raise 1 billion in one day. But if they don't have money, 100 million rather. No, 100 times 10 million. It's 1 billion. It is. But if you keep having people, so there are people I know have become past governors. They could have recommended people, they could have sent people, they could have helped people. They are not helping anybody. But today they are running for office, higher office. But there is nobody to help them. Not David. You know all those people they talked about, strong men of David, that were beggars? All of them were territorial influencers. They go to war, they kill, they get spoils of war, because then it was legitimate to fight and take over people's territories. They get those spoils of... David does not take it alone. All his lieutenants became multi-millionaires. So if he's donating 1 billion, he has people that can donate 500 million. Be that kind of friend. If you ever make money before your friends, give them the code, give them the code. Plug them in. You are better off having richer friends than poorer people. Because the next level that you want to will require some form of strong men. Assuming today that the government freezes your account, and they have frozen accounts of people before, do you have men around you that can... Oh, don't worry, Oga. Be going. On my birthday, I wanted to give out a large sum of money to support a project. Not my project, another project, but I felt like supporting that project. Let it be my birthday gift. And I called my friend. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I want you to support it. In less than 5 minutes, she sent her support. In the millions. This was a girl that used to sleep in my sitting room. What did I do? Helped her, trained her, recommended her for a position. Today I have people I can call at my small level. Now, if I keep growing, some of you here at another level, I could call someone and say, I give that woman 100 million. And that's my vision. Go and build an estate for that. Go and build a house for that widow. And my friends, my associates, they will do it. If everything you do is something you fund out of pocket, there is a problem. Begin to raise men, raise women, raise people around you. That was what David did. And he could tell them, I want to build a temple, bring in the money. And when God told him, you are not building, he said, okay, I'm not building, but I'll raise the money for it. He donated, and all the people donated. Moses came down, empowered the people, and said, God gave me a vision. By the time he was empowering the people, he didn't even know that there will be a need to build something. Some of you may not even know that you will run for office in the future. You may not believe it. You may not even believe that some of the things that will happen to you 10, 15, you may not believe it. But you better have something and not need it than need it and not have it. You better have men and don't need them than the day you want to run for office, you look around you, nobody. The day you want to build company, you look around you, nobody. The day you want to start up that business, you look around you, nobody. No, that's not what we want to do. If we are going to achieve territorial impact, we must invest in the people. Invest in people around us. If you can't give money, give training, buy books for them, do something. You must give. Some of us can give good advice. Call people, give them advice. Some of us can, there's nobody that has nothing to give. If you don't have anything to give, just say, oh, I just want to come and wash the car for you. Find something to give. Give your employer something. Give more than you are paid for. If you're here and you're working for any firm, give them the best of you. Overwork. Overachieve results. I told one of my associates who's working for a governor. I said, don't be the person complaining. Everybody's complaining. The governor is not getting it right. Don't be like that person. Once you see something that is not working, write him an email. Say, Your Excellency, this is what I think about this problem. I think that this can help you. Become a problem. He's a governor, but he's in pain. He's in need. And you're around him. Don't be like every other person. Saying, oh, God is not good. To say, oh, God, write him an email. So, oh, God, I hear that you're going to speak at this event. These are the talking points. Oh, God, I hear that you're going to, I saw on the social media that you're going to speak at United Nations. These are the talking points. Talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. Over value, provide value. Sometimes it might not be, sometimes it might even be news. You are in a sector. You are working for somebody. So, God, these are the relevant news items you need to see today. And so they don't have to start searching the internet to find the news. By the time you wake up, you read the news item and aggregate 10 for people and say, I have done it for people. Sometimes I take the newspapers, I read them and I cycle, read page 38, page 35. I make his life easy. Before he comes to office, there are 6 newspapers, but you don't have to read all. He doesn't have to start. I circle the ones that are relevant to what he's doing. Find out how you can help your boss, how you can help your superiors, how you can add value. Give more than you're taking. Give more. Find out how you can help your friends. What business are you doing? How can I help you? Sometimes I call my millionaire friends. What are you trying to do? What help do you need? And they start telling you. Sometimes I don't have the help immediately. I go home, I think about it. I think about it. Aha, I think this might help you. Start looking for your uncles. Start looking for help. Help them. You know that they are doing this kind of business. Just go and research that business. Don't use your data for TikTok. Go and research the business they are doing. And tell them, sir, see what I saw about this business. You are into manufacturing. I hear that there's a new government policy coming up. And you give him an advice that saves him millions. Invest in people. Governments that invest in people can always come back. Allow people to use you. I hear this thing, I don't want anybody to use me. I don't want anybody to use me. They are not using me, I'm not their slave, and I'm not going to be used. Be used of people. Volunteer, give more than you're taking. If you're an employee here, give value, become valuable. It is not even that company that you are giving that may reward you. Give and it shall be given unto you. It is not the person you give that will give. You may work for John Holt, and there's another company that will, there is a law. It's a law. If you give, it will be given unto you. It's a law. If you offer value, there's a young person I know, and I've been working now for, I think, is it Bauchi State Government or Nasarawa State Government? I don't know, I heard the story. The man that is governor today, he met him as a youth corper. Was intending, was just deployed to, I think that the time the man was heading a parastatal or something, a government agency, either Bauchi, I can't remember which state now. And the man was deployed there as a youth corper. And he was executive, so the youth corper was, I believe that he was not the only youth corper there. He helped the man. Like play, the outgoing governor called the man. You are going to be you're going to take over from me. Like play, the man won primaries. Like play, the man became governor. Guess who? One of the first appointments he made, the youth corper. Nobody's asking you for CV, nobody's asking, no interview, nothing. Is that the only youth corper he has met in his life? No. There are other youth corpers still today looking for employment. There's something from T.D. Jakes. It says, give your very best. Even if it is not it, it will lead to it. If where you are today is not it, if you give your very best, that place will lead to it. Give your very best where you are currently. Even if it is not it, it will lead to it somehow. Might even be people you met there, it is somehow. If governments learn to deliver value to the people, you go to a market, your first instinct is not to tax them. You ask them, how can I help you? They say, we are suffering from bad roads. You give them roads. They say, how can I help you again? We are suffering from fire. You give them fire trucks. Say, how can I help you? You say, we have problems with customs. And the governor goes and negotiates with customs. I say, what is happening? And the governor takes their problem to the president and continues to fight until that problem is solved. If you deliver value, after a while, you can come back to the business community. And you tell them, I want to build 10 new hospitals. One more person there can build one for you. You tell them, I want to do 365 primary health care centers. There are millionaires in your state. Each one can take health centers, turn it around. All you have to do is to give them a template. Like in my state, I know the number of health care centers they have in my state. Now, some of them are not primary health care, some of them does not qualify, but yes. If a governor delivers value consistently for 2 years, the governor can raise millionaires that can totally transform those healthcare centers without spending from the government purse. How many secondary schools are there in the state? The governor can raise social capital. He can use social capital to transform all the secondary schools in the state. Through social capital, a governor can use it to transform all the... Just give them a template. I see the budget. I saw the budget for my state last year. I saw how much they are budgeting to give every secondary school. That's the budget, though. It was not released eventually. But that's the budget. I'm saying, I looked at the schools in my community. I laughed. Oga, if the billionaires in my community will take all these secondary schools and transform it. But you need to be that man that they can invest in. The millionaires in my community, they can take all this, they can, Oga, just to use your money to do other things. Leave this while, let's just deal with it. At the governmental level, yes. At also the personal level, yes. I will stop here and ask the question, what have we learned from today's class? How do you intend to implement this? Incorporate it into what you're currently doing? That's the question that I want to pose to people here. What we have discussed now, how do you intend to incorporate it into how can you incorporate this into what you're doing? And I'll be happy to receive your feedback. Victor, your hand was first raised. Yes, Victor, go ahead, please.
summarize everything you just said, it is networking and volunteering as a tool to achieve greater height. Because you have to network, meet people, and then invest in them. Really give, give. There is something everybody must give. You have some, even if you are poor or broke, give your service, give. You can also give recommendations. Yeah, there are many things you can give. And at the same time, when you are giving something to people, at the same time, you're also building something for yourself. And sometimes you might not even see what you are doing until it's time for you to go for something, for you to work on something. Those people you helped will still come back to, in a way, to thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for helping me to learn, or thank you for serving me. They can even give you recommendation. So in everything, in summary, it's just about networking and volunteering, and then at the same time, the thing will still come back to you. This is what I learned this night. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. I appreciate that. Exactly. In fact, it's just now that you're saying this. I remember one of the countries I visited, I think last year or so. I walked into the embassy in less than 3 hours because I did not access same day visa, same day, because of who recommended me. Same day, walked in, everything happened same day. In fact, they were telling me, when do you want to come? When are you free? I said, I don't live in Abuja. When are you coming? I say, I am traveling to this place, so I will go through Abuja, but I can only stay for 1 day in Abuja. I said, come in. I came in, people were on the queue, they fast-tracked me, brought us to this thing, served us to did this, just captured our details, did this. I said, can I go now? They said, wait. I waited. And lo and behold, these are countries men spend years trying to get visa to. What did I do? I was just serving someone. Now, if I want to start building my capacity to travel to such places, I can still get it, but it will take a longer route. Fly on the wings of men. But don't go manipulatively trying to get from them. Everybody that meets people, they want to get. Give. Keep giving. In fact, as an example, this year we are giving until there's nothing more to give. After these 32 days of governance, we are doing 32 schools, secondary schools project. Selected 32 secondary schools, free civic training for the teachers first and then the students. We are doing 32 public institutions and they are not funded by anybody. In fact, the 32 days of governance we are doing today, by the time we finished, we must have spent between 5.2 million to 6.7 million to do this class. The only funding support we've gotten is 50,000 that one of the participants sent me to buy internet router. Every other thing out of pocket. Give. I've seen it work for me. And you might think I'm being foolish. And people have said, it works for me. Some of the places I've been to today, some of the places I've gone to, my intellect, my qualification nowhere near. I have never in my life applied for any job. Never for 1 day. Just people just recommend. Give. Today we're helping state governors, state governments. I write public proposals, I give to you free, implement and help your people. I'm going to meet another governor. I'm thinking 7 public policy proposals I'm going to dash this man. As a consultant, you pay in the millions to get that kind of work. I write it for you, give it out. There are some lawmakers, I've written the bills, give them, sponsor, take. I don't want money, take, just give. Lawmakers in the House of Representatives, you see them reading motions, I wrote it. Give, without pay, don't pay, just, what will I, don't worry, honorable, just take. Don't worry, it's this thing, just take. What do you want? Take. I don't want anything. Take. We're going to be training 32 public institutions yet this year by the mercies of God. 32 public institutions. We are selecting 32 institutions to begin to train the civil servants. And many of these institutions will be local governments. 32 local governments. And more than likely, these are local governments that can't afford it. We're giving training, free trainings. Just keep giving. Keep giving. Yet again, we're going to support 32 candidates. One of them is already here. 32 candidates running for local government. Free consultancy. Free consultancy. 32. Why is it 32, 32, 32? Nothing, just because I'm 32 years. That's just a number. If I was 33, I would have, that's just it. That's it. You give. Now, some of the trainings are going to be delivered virtually, so I'm not traveling. Then some of the places, if I'm visiting like Abuja to do a business in Abuja, I can block out 2 nights to just give you guys something and out of there. But I've given. So that trip, is a business trip for me, but as part of the business trip, I can just give you guys something. If I'm traveling to Lagos, I can just give. If I'm traveling to the East, I can just give. It's giving. Now, keep watching this space. You will see when these things we are giving will begin to come back. It's a law of nature. I learned this at a very early age, and it has helped. There's nobody I worked with that did not cry the day I was telling them I'm leaving. Nobody. I said, okay, I'm leaving. It's now time for me to leave. They say, what is it? I said, no, it's time for me to leave. There's not one person I've ever worked with that agreed to release me. There are people that are unfireable. You can't fire us. In fact, one of them, I met him as a volunteer in a governorship campaign. He lost the governorship. He said, I need you. He created an office, created just something just to retain my services. When I told him I was going, he frowned. In fact, he worried for a little while. But today, if I'm to start life again, I'll begin again to give. By the time I give for 10 years, you'll see the results. Some of the government houses that are open to us today, we don't ask for contracts, no nothing. And they are shocked. They are shocked. You mean you left your state, came to our state, did all this research work, and you're giving us recommendation, and you're not charging us? They are shocked. Completely. And sometimes when we do, maybe there is a person funding them. Yes, God in heaven is funding us. I'm sharing this, I'm being this detailed to encourage us to give. Give your very best. At your workplace, give more. If they're paying you 100K, deliver value of 100 million. Deliver value. Help your bosses, help them. Find their pain points, address it. Not manipulatively, not in a way that don't even expect anything. Just be giving. Just be giving. It's a law. It's a law. It can't fail. Just be sowing your seeds. It will grow in time. Yes, Peter, how do you intend to implement?
Thank you very much for this wonderful session. Good evening, everybody. What I've learned so far here, which although things I've actually been working on, that have been working for me also in my place of work, is the fact that I just want to add to this notion, to this call, this class. You see, there's this thing we usually call, say, Nigeria. We say people have connection and all that. I think it's just a betrayal of that word in the real sense. Just like we said, if you're not building capacity, if you're not impacting, if you're not creating value, if you're not making yourself invaluable dispense of people, then this same connection will always be far away from you. Now, for someone who's going to view you from afar now, will always think, oh, you have that connection. Because I've been rubbing minds with people in government, thinking maybe you are soiling your hands in debt and all that. But the reality is they are not seeing the inherent work that you've been doing, which is capacity building, which I feel is part of the things that are lacking here. I'll just quickly use one example. The place where I currently work, I got that based on recommendation. In fact, I was in Nigeria. The person who recommended me, we've not seen till this day, face to face. Not seen. I was just in his class, registered in his class, and I think something happened in class, and I was just natural with myself. There was no point hiding who I was. My name was called continuously. I didn't hear. And eventually, when I woke up, he asked, "What happened?" And I just went straight to the point. I was being truthful. I was being honest. I was being pragmatic with the whole thing. That was the beginning of the likeness. And you go from class to do this, to do that, and all that. And the attitude came to bear. And before you know it, this is where I am. And courtesy of this same place, I've been getting other places as well. So I think what is really lacking with most of us is that we're not ready to build capacity, and many of us are not ready to serve so that we can lead. And the reality is, for everything that you do for free, for every form of internship that we do, for every form of service that you do right now, it's that invaluable currency you successfully created for the future. Let me just stop here so I don't say more than that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. You reminded me of one of the times I was visiting my home state, and then I made a call. I said, I want to see the SSG, and the person I called said, give me a couple of hours, and then eventually they called me, the man is in the office, and you can come. So I went there, I sat down, I waited for him. He was trying to see me. I said, Your Excellency, Your Honor, I've come to check up on the NSAS panel report. Now, to tell you this, I have never been assaulted by police officers before. Never. I will never be, because I've cracked the code, outward appearance. I don't know anybody personally who has been, apart from the fact that I had stories of people. But I take my time to bother him. We even worked so hard, eventually smuggled something into the budget, has not been released on NSAS to make sure that we secure the funding for SARS victims. We've been working on that for nearly 2 years. Now the day to find, then I hear again that the state appointed another panel to look into something similar. I quickly wrote my recommendation to that panel. I've been following up, where are we on this? I've been following up, Ministry of Budget, where are we on this? Say it's now in the budget. I said, talk, let it be in the budget, finally. Let it be that it was not implemented, but let's put it there. But eventually we'll get to the point that we have put it there and it was implemented. And the day we secure that funding, you will not see me there. The people will not even know who did that for them. I've told you, by 2025, if God gives us the grace, there are laws we're working on. If we finish this law and it passes, 280 billion in additional funding for our primary schools. 2.8 now, and I may not be able to pay school fees for children, but I've seen a law that if I change it, it will give them 280 billion. Now, and I may not even be the governor that will implement that law. Now, the governors will have more money. They may not even need to know where it came from. But there's a law that we're applying. There's a God in heaven that is taking notes. And so many times, don't do this for people to see it. Don't publicize it. I'm saying this here. It's a closed meeting to encourage others. Yes, I see more hands up. How are you going to implement this? Yeah, it was Jeremiah and James. Jeremiah, you first, and after you, James, and then we wrap up the class.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chima.
Good evening, sir.
Thanks again for another insightful session. Sorry I couldn't unmute my mic earlier. I stepped away from my phone for a little bit. So I was hearing you call me before I came back. You had already moved on. But yeah, so my takeaways from today's session and maybe an extra layer to it is the need to cultivate relationships without expectation to a certain extent, because when people think networking, most of the time they think, well, those that have gone ahead of us, those that have gone ahead, that whose connections they can maybe leverage or something, and in doing that they forget about those who are also at their level too. Peter Obi was once someone's classmate. Okay. people right now are like, okay, to get ahead, I should be networking with Peter Obis of society, but they forget that their classmates also have the tendency to become those other great people in the future. So I think nurturing a relationship without expectation is something that people overlook, in the sense that they are looking at those who can help them presently, forgetting that even within their present circle, there are people that might not help you now, but the seeds you're sowing will eventually yield fruits. Maybe not now, maybe not even for yourself, for your children. For instance, I recently had to stay in a place I've not really been to before, and I was hosted for 2 weeks off of friendships that my father cultivated in university. And as it is, it's not like right now. But yes, that happened. So yes, you never know when these things will yield fruit. Then another thing is that which rewards others rewards you too. So for instance, David, who we spoke about in today's class, when he was before he even became would I say a fugitive running away from Saul, he was actually one of Saul's lieutenants. And in that time, he would go out on his own, do raids that no one had sent him to do, and all that, you know. And in that time, he was building capacity, and at the same time, he was also increasing the dominion of Saul, so to speak. So, on the surface, it might not have looked like he was gaining anything personally, but he was building capacity. And those are the things that ended up making him the mighty man of war that he became. And throughout his reign, he didn't lose a single battle. So yeah, basically these two things: cultivating relationships without expectation of reward, and realizing that that's what you do to reward others. It's like the example that you gave the other night about the student that was told to push the mountain. That is how giving is sometimes. Like, you pour yourself out so much and you don't see any return. But then it is building your muscles, you're pushing against the muscle. The mountain is building your muscles. So yes, the rewards might not be tangible now, but they are there and they are accumulating. And yeah, and another thing also was that of appearances. I never really said that before. Like, yes, we know you're addressed by the way you dress, but then, you know, that's being stated explicitly, you know, men judge by appearance. I never saw it that way. So that was also a perspective shift for me. So yeah, thanks again for the wonderful class. God bless.
God bless you too, sir. I'm grateful. Yes, Mr. James, go ahead, please. And then after you, there are other people. AVM is here. Yes.
Thank you once more, Mr. Chima, for the teachings today, sir. I've been reinforced and I've been fired up to actually implement most of the things that he said here. But the two striking things for me are networking and volunteering or service. And I'm working on my networking capacity, especially my social capital, in terms of interacting with people. But volunteering, I've been keen on that and I've been applying it. And I realized that volunteering can actually break into the corridors of power. Taking a cue from what I'm applying currently. In my compound where I live in Port Harcourt, there was an issue of people, the tenants not, an individual collecting the NEPA bill, the NEPA payments, and at the same time, the person was squandering the money without actually documenting how he collected the money. He wasn't accountable. No presentation of how the money came in and how the money is going out. So I took it upon myself. When we discovered the lapses from him, I called one other guy, then we deliberated on it, then called a meeting. From the meeting, I volunteered, okay, now I'll be taking the NEPA bill. And from there, I was able to collect the money from every tenant and show them an example of how to be accountable. So I put out the money that everybody that I received in my account, a separate account for receiving the money. So what collected it for like 4 months, and the accountability was there. Everything, how the money came in, and how I made the payment. And with that, I discovered that I was able to buy the minds of other tenants, and I was able to organize them for a meeting. I was partying like a year ago, and some have lived more than 5 years, and I'm the one taking charge of the whole compound. And it even got to a point that the landlord of our compound had, when we had a challenge of people, the sumo there. So it was me that the landlord assigned again. So it brought about a relationship between me and the landlord, and this kind of trust and accountability that it is possible for transparency to actually occur in the compound. So I realized that volunteering itself can actually bring you to a corridor of power if you actually implement it correctly. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir. There is a comment in the session. I'll read it, but I want to introduce my big Oga, very big Oga. I'm not sure he would want me to properly introduce him, but then the next person that's about to speak is my very big Oga. I say very, very big Oga. I'll leave it at that. So, yes, you have the floor, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you, class. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, we can all hear you, sir.
Thank you immensely. I finally have the following class today. I've made a thought that's been very kind to be a part of this wonderful thing that you have given. I enjoyed a lot of the comments, particularly talking about network and volunteering. But I know I asked you a question, Jim, why you did this? Because you said that's true for public institutions. I said, this is amazing. Because I see this generation as a very strong generation. Because it has been for what is in it for me. Like when we say network, people don't give you about network marketing. It's about what you get by doing something. But I see what is spiritual about what you're doing. I believe that that should be the foundation. When you go to Luke 6:38, it talks about it says, give and it shall be given to you. The angels press down, shake together, and run, and so on. Initially, when I read that scripture in the Bible, you won't get that meaning. But if you go read the speech of John Kennedy, it's a inaugural speech, 1961. It's very important for the this class to go read it. It was a call for civic action and public service. That's the kind of thing to have. Because it was an era in America, the civil rights movement, where people were fighting for their civil rights and so on. So I see this country in that kind of a situation where people will need to really gear up for civic action. I like the approach when you talk about things you do when you want to do what the doing something different. Sometimes it look like you're stupid when you do that, but the truth is, if we cannot raise people in this generation and changing people's mindset, then there is no hope for the future. So I'm very encouraged that you're able to do this. It will be difficult to get a lot of people to. I have tried to invite a lot of young people. I say, look, for me, I have done my bit. I will only continue to guide people. But for your generation going forward, there is a lot more challenge. The solution is not in the back. Because you live where you are a first citizen and go to where you're a second or third class citizen. You don't know. So you see that these things are driven by materialism, because people think, oh, how we measure, like you say, by the world measures by what they see outside. Oh, he don't have a car. Like somebody will ask you, oh, Chima, why are you doing this? Should I use that money in an island? This is not what we find in the There must be that call for civic action, great service, which like you're talking about networking and all that will do for us to make a difference because we are in very challenging moment in our country where you can see that it's difficult to get people to volunteer. Go and check how many people who do that as volunteers in the last minute. Don't be a Google, so you see it. So it sounds strange, but say, well, how do I do it if I have to volunteer? Well, like you said, I don't know what attracted me to you is the idea that it's time to get do something and I'm asking, why are you doing this? He said, because if we don't do it, who will do it? So, I'll continue to be a part of this program and I'll do my best to also see how I can support you. Right away, when you talk about the report for the Truth, Justice and Peace Commission, it's great. Because of the kind of work you do, I will give you unlimited access to it so you can read. I have been tasked by the state to come up with what they call actionable points so that we can talk about the information. For the EndSARS report, which I was also a part of, some things went wrong somewhere. We became political about it, so maybe that's why I didn't get the kind of traction that I should have been, so that people would comment it because we spent 1 year on that aside. So just like you say, give and give and give. From there, people will really get to see that it is possible for someone that in the process of providing that kind of volunteer service to actually, even when young people apply to go to higher education overseas, they want to know issues and sometimes in social studies. That was part of what Obama had to do because he wanted to become a senator, but he had an ambition to be president. So somebody will check your CV. If you check all of you here on this platform, in your CV, I'm sure there won't be any place without written you spend 1 year in service. Or to somebody that will look like most people. It's not. You're building yourself. Because the only way we can get people who can change this country will be to get people who are a lot more selfless and people who are ready to always think of what they can give and what they can give. It's what they call from Gen Effective who say, think of what you can get of what you can ask them what your country can give you or what you can give. So if we connect all this, you see that your message will become clear that for us to be able to change the spirit we must first change the mindset. I think you're on course and I want to commend you for all the effort taken.
I feel so good, elated. Thank you so very much, sir. I mean, participants of the class, you from what you say, you see that he's a high-level functionary of the government, and he's way established in life, way accomplished in his career before he even entered the government, and he's here to offer encouragement. One of the days we will host him, and then I will not be teaching. He will be teaching the class. Of course, I have not discussed with him privately on this, but I'm now dragging him out publicly. So raise your hands and then show with the show of an emoji. How many of you want to receive him to come and teach one of the sessions in Boko School of Government? You see people are raising their hands, the AVM. So beautiful. So that shows you that one of the days we will secure a day that you're free. I know that you're quite a very busy man and that maybe by this time you're tired. But even if we have to buy you coffee, we'll send people to bring coffee so that you'll be strong enough to teach one of the sessions, sir. Thank you so very much for it. Thank you.
That's okay. And thank you for for me particularly, I took away the issue of building social capital for my state because I'm worried about the private sector participation. So you said something that really struck a chord because if they see that we have a model school built by the state, a model hospital built by the state, and it's very functional, you can see people begin to become schools. It's already happening in the state where in some communities people are building roads. Because usually we just people, the government makes the road, but they are doing the roads. And I know way back in my younger years, schools, community primary schools, community secondary schools, until the government said, hey, we want to be community schools. But what happened to the schools? They took it over and messed it up. We'll get this right. I think you say Africa money. What do you normally say?
Africa's morning is at hand. It's here. It's just for us to take it, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'm deeply grateful. And AVM has also been sponsoring some of our missions to the Middle Belt quietly, without noise, without pictures. Just write him, says, AVM, this is what I'm doing, and he wires his money. So thank you so much for all the support you've been giving us, and for physically attending the classes and the sessions. Thank you so much, sir.
No, I will roll with you till the last question.
Thank you. We're grateful.
I've also invited some young ones. That's what it is. So that's the kind of handover we should make to you guys. If we share assurances and those things that can help you to see that you run the country well, because we have a chance.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So with what AVM has said, I don't know if we should just close the meeting here, or if there's anybody that wants to add one more thing, and we will not deny you the platform before we close. Is there anyone like that wants to recount or tell us how he intends to implement or she intends to implement what he or she learned? Okay, in the absence of that, giving opens doors that selfishness can't open. There is no government house that is not open to me today. None. Well, I don't need to know anybody there. All I need to do is to have a problem that I want to help them solve. And I can take my time, research their issues, write my recommendation, and send them. I don't need to see the governor once I send my recommendation. Sometimes they invite for a meeting. Sometimes I request for a meeting. I'm not coming to ask for contracts. I'm not coming to take pictures with you. We are not coming to ask for anything. We fund ourselves. We pay all the interventions we did in Benue State. We didn't take government money. We didn't even receive pure water from them. Not one sachet of water. We funded our way through. And when people see it, I share with my close friends, I say, what are you doing? They say, government, for Christ's sake. This is what people are doing, and they are getting paid in the millions, in the multiple of millions. You mean you went to government and gave it to them free? Well, I tried to explain to make them understand, but it's difficult. I say, if it is me, I now say that is why it's not you. Because if it is you, you will not get the access to the governor, because you'll be asking for money. You will not get the access. So if you put yourself first, many doors will lock to you. If you put others ahead, places where your legs cannot carry you, selflessness will take you there. The quality of friends I have today, the kind of confidence I have that I can do. The only government house that is locked to me is the government that I don't have interest in. Once I see a genuine problem I want to solve, and that your state government is part of the things, I will give you. There's yet a meeting in my heart to governor, maybe of my state. I've been thinking, what will I give this man? I've not requested for a meeting yet, but I'm thinking, if I meet him, what will I give him? I'm thinking I will give him 7 core public policy proposals that he can implement free, design 7 of them. And that I've not requested for a meeting is because the proposals are not ready. So anytime I'm meeting a king, what will I give? What will you give? And we're not giving so that you will win an election or you will give us appointments. It's so that the people will be good, things will work well. That's the kind of selflessness we want to see, especially for a generation that has learned to put themselves ahead and stumble and to knock down others to get ahead. We're now rewriting that thing to say that you can be selfless. That thing that tells you that selfishness is what helps you to accomplish your goal. We're beginning to tell you that selflessness helps you accomplish it much more faster, much more genuinely. Much more genuinely. The quality of relationships will be solid. Solid. Much more genuinely. Much more genuinely. I tell you, what we have is a more excellent pathway. but we have to model it for our generation, a more excellent pathway. What we are all doing here with that, we will inspire others to do it. I like the testimonies that were shared today, and there's one in the comment that I would like to read. So one of the easiest ways to build social capital is through giving. That's coming from Mr. Victor Onyekolo, which mostly comes from volunteering. Last year, I was able to send out 4 out-of-school children, kids, through my social capital, and I have also empowered over 500 students and youth with digital skills, and I haven't spent a dime paying the tutors. Building social capital will ease some burdens off you, but before then you need to invest your time and energy in other people's lives, which most youths are not willing to do. Now you ask yourself, what the youths are trying to do? Trying to defraud people, trying to get ahead, how is that working for us? How is that working? There's a more excellent pathway. He who needs to be great is Jesus, who is saying it. You need to be servant of all. But today we want to boss it around people. And we're saying that the lessons from David, the lessons from Moses, is that he who wants to get must first give. Give your all, and then in turn, people will reciprocate. The universe will reciprocate, and give without expecting anything in return. Don't give manipulatively. Don't give pretentiously. In fact, the easiest way to receive, I know, let me say this because we are talking about giving. I don't know when this kind of topic will come. In fact, there are some givings that you receive instantly. Once you give immediately, you receive instant reward. The fastest, this one does not waste time. Once you give that kind of giving, you receive your reward that very day. Jesus talked about it. He says, when you give, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. If you do that, you have received your reward. Look at what he said. You have received your what? Your reward. Because you're doing it to be applauded. You have already received it. He's also saying, when you pray, don't pray in the street corner shouting. He said, that's the fastest prayer God answered. It's not God that answers it. It's man that answers that kind of prayer. Because they will now be calling you a man of prayer. You've gotten your reward. You give and you bring cameras to be there to show that you are giving. You have got, the people, that day you will get a lot of retweets. You have gotten your reward. The best kind is to give without expecting, and to give quietly. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving. One day it will accumulate. Even if it fails to accumulate on earth, it will accumulate in heaven. Thank you so very much. My name is Chima Christian.